It's no secret that Lake Ontario offers up some of the best salmon fishing action on planet Earth. This week on Fishing 411 TV, Mark and Jake Romanack travel to the familiar waters of Western Lake Ontario. Springtime is when everyone flocks to Lake Ontario, but it's the summer months that offer up a sleeper bite for mature king and coho salmon. Mark and Jake have a literal riot catching mature salmon using the Yakima Bait Spin and fish plug stuffed with their secret formula of Pro-Cure bloody tuna oil and canned tuna fish.
There we go. Literally just set that.
Now that's the way to start a salmon day. I love it. I love it. Woo, baby.
I literally just walked away from it, Dad, and it buried.
Oh my goodness. So, well, you got no lines to get tangled. We got no lines in the water. So we'll just do our thing. It's always nice when your first drop gets a gets a bite. That's always a nice thing.
You can see that sun coming up behind me. It's going to be a beautiful morning. Southwest light winds out on Lake Ontario. Really looking forward to today. But one of the presentations that we're doing today, we've done out here on Lake Ontario before and have had success, but a little bit different than your Great Lakes style tactics. We're kind of bringing in the West Coast to the Great Lakes, fishing the way that they do out on the West Coast, and having great success with it. So what I think is going to be cool about this episode is to show that you don't necessarily, if you're getting into salmon fishing and you don't want to invest in downriggers and divers and all the equipment that us Great Lakes fishermen fish, but you still want to be able to come out in the Great Lakes and catch fish, I think you'll get a pretty good kick out of this presentation to catch a lot of salmon with not necessarily a lot of gear. There we go. Now we got them coming the right direction. Now we got them coming the right direction. Maybe. Oh. We're gonna have to take them over here again. He wants to come over on this side, so we'll get him on this side.
I gotta come around the inside of you if you don't mind there, kiddo. Actually, this would be better.
Ready?
Okay.
Got him in the net.
I got him in the net. Boy, that's a big fish, Jake. Oh my goodness, that's a two-hander. That is a big fish.
A little unorthodox there. I mean, he wanted to be on this side of the boat, and so we netted him on this side of the boat, but he was everywhere, man. You don't tell these king salmon where to go, they tell you where to go. That is what I'm talking about right there. Anytime I get sunrise and a big old king salmon, Jake Romanack's a very happy man. Man, we're gonna have a lot of fun today showing you this presentation. It's a fun way to catch kings. It's a very easy way to catch kings, and it doesn't take a lot of equipment. So like I said, you know, I was fighting this fish. If you have, you know, you're kind of getting into salmon fishing and you're not looking to spend a pile of money, but you want to be able to catch Great Lake salmon like this one right here, this is probably the presentation for you, man. It's easy. It obviously catches big salmon.
Fishing 411 TV is brought to you in part by Striker Brands. Go early, go late, go prepared. Fishing 411 TV is brought to you in part by Fish Hawk Electronics. Going fishing without a fish hawk is called boating.
There's fish right here. Oh. Listen to that drag sing. I love it. Go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. Woo! Oh my goodness. That bait was set at 80 back. I'm at 220 now. That's a good run right there. That is a screaming run. 250 now. Oh man, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Woo. All right, we're gonna take that bait clicker off. Enough of that sound. Still pulling line out though. All right. Oh, so I can pick up line on him here. Woo. It is so much fun. Man, this is just so much fun. Drag sizzling action. Woo! Oh. The bait here that's doing the work for us is something made by Yakima. It's been around for a few years. It's called a spin-in fish. And essentially what it is a plug that rotates in the water. It's designed to fish behind rotators. But it's hollow, so you can take it apart and you can put scent inside it. We're using a mixture of tuna fish and some Procure. And so you get a great scent trail, you get great action, and they're armed with 2 single hooks. And so your hookup ratios are very, very good too. So it's a cool product, and I think it's really going to start to catch on here in the Great Lakes. Oh, screaming, I dropped it out. Woo! Uh-oh. Now what are we going to do,
Now
Jason?
we got our hands full, Dad.
Now what are we going to do?
Oh yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, I'm hoping one of these is smaller than the other so that they don't come to the boat at the same time.
I was just dropping it back a little bit. I must have dropped it right on the nose of one.
Apparently. Well, as Jake indicated earlier, the good news is we don't have a lot of gear in the water. We're only fishing 4 rods today. So that part of it is good. We don't have a lot of gear to steer around. Well, I don't know what we're going to do when we get 2 big kings to the back of the boat and try to figure out how we're going to land them.
This one is, I think yours is a lot bigger, so I've got mine coming the right way. I think I'll actually be able to just unhook mine right on the side of the boat. It's a nice king, but it's nothing I don't think I can't manage over here.
You're gonna hand land a 5-pounder, huh?
I want to get him back quick. Woo.
Back he goes.
Oh, this is not good. We're gonna do some fancy footwork here, Dad. Reel down. Reel right up to the weight.
Dragging.
Keep him coming.
Yep. Good job,
That's
Jake.
a big fish.
Good job.
That's a big fish, Dad.
Now that is a solid 20 pounds of Chinook salmon right there. And boy, did he kick my butt. And man, that is an absolute riot. And I think I'm starting to become a big believer in the spinning fish from Yakima. Man, do they catch salmon. What a fun presentation.
You know, one of the things with this style of fishing, we're really going to go in depth of this rig because it's a pretty specific rig to be successful with the spinning fish. But it's not just the spinning fish, it's also teamed up with the rotator that you're going to use, the whole presentation from top to bottom. But one of the things that we're doing here is I'm judging my speed with your speed over ground, but I'm also watching the rod tips. And you kind of get an idea from the rod tip of what you're looking for. And what I mean by that is when you watch that rod tip right now, you can kind of see it moving at 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. That's about what I'm looking for. And so I'm paying attention to that and letting the fish kind of tell me. I'll speed up a little bit, and if that gets those fish to go, maybe I need to speed up more. If I slow down and we're still getting bites, maybe they want it a little bit slower. The fish are going to tell you that on any given day. But that 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000 in the rod tip is kind of that in between, which is about that 2.2 to 2.5 miles an hour.
Because we're running fairly heavy weights with these rotators, we're running 8 ounce, 10 ounce, 12 ounce, and even 16 ounce weights, you're going to need a stouter rod than what you're typically used to maybe for salmon fishing. I think what works nicely is a dipsy rod. The one we have here, they're made by Eagle Claw in the Starfire X lineup. This is a 9-foot telescoping dipsy rod, so it fits in the rod locker really nice, and it's got just the right action for these weight systems that we're using with the rotator. The rotator's got a big thump to it, the weight of course has got resistance, so you need a rod with quite a bit of backbone. So we think that these just work out perfectly, and the good news is they're less than 60 bucks. So it isn't going to cost you a fortune to hook up your boat with the gear you need to do the salmon fishing.
Fishing 411 TV is brought to you in part by the Ultimate Sports Show Tour and Abyss Batteries. Power your pursuit. Fishing 411 TV is brought to you in part by Big Bite Baits and Steel Shad Premier Fishing Lures. Smokercraft Incorporated and Suzuki Outboards presents the 411 on Fishing.
Hey, let me take a minute and talk a little bit about the boat that I'm running this year. It is a Smokercraft 210 GLS Sport. And there's some really nice features about this boat that I'd like to visit a little bit about. For one, it's got a giant bow platform, which is plenty of room for jigging and casting, and an enormous rod storage locker right down the center of the boat. So you can put, I've had as many as 20 or 25 rods in the boat, so it's very generous in its rod storage. The back of the boat is wide open, so it's great for trolling, and it's got jump seats that you can flip up. So when you're running to your spot and coming back from your spot, you've got a very convenient place for your passengers in the boat. I don't have to have swivel pedestal seats in there that take up a lot of room. That works out super, super well. This boat is 20 foot 8 inches long. It's got a 102-inch beam and is rated for a 250 horse outboard. And of course, there's room in the back to put a kicker, which I did. And on the bow, of course, I'd highly recommend a 36 volt electric motor. We've got a force Kraken on the front of this boat. All in all, it's a great multi-species. You can cast, you can jig, you can troll. It'll do anything you want to do to catch fish.
So this little guy right here is what's catching all of our fish. This is the spinning fish from Yakima Bait Company, and it is an absolute fish catcher. But one of the things that makes this so cool is it's a rotating presentation, so it spins in the water, but then it also comes apart and you can fill that with bait. That's one of the reasons it's such a successful system. Basically what we're using for bait's pretty simple. We're using canned tuna fish, and we doctor that up with some Procure. Right in that tuna fish container is some bloody tuna oil mixed in with the tuna fish with oil in it, so it's just a fishy smell. Very simple. I go ahead and I just pack that tuna fish in there. So I grab a little bit of it. One of the reasons why I'm wearing gloves today is it just makes it a little bit easier to keep everything clean. I'm wearing the rubber gloves, but very simple, pack it in there. And the reason why we're using tuna is it stays in really well. And then I don't know if you can see, but there's these simple little holes, and that's where the scent's coming out of. And so very simple, then you take this 2 pieces and you go ahead and you put it together like that. And then that's your system right there. Now obviously we'll go into, the full setup here. So basically it's about a 34, 36 inch long leader to a paddle. Now the paddle that we really like to use is this Pro Troll. It's an 11-inch paddle, and being Great Lakes guys, I'm sure you're thinking maybe we want to run a smaller paddle. The big paddle is important for this system because the kick of the paddle is what's giving that spinning fish its action. When it's coming around, it's giving it that hard snap, and that's that reactionary bite that we're getting. And then what we're doing, we're teeing it up to a 24-inch bumper. The bumper is then tied to a lead ball. So this lead ball is 24 inches in front of the paddle. Again, another important thing here, and the reason for that is because that becomes your pendulum. So now when that rotator is spinning, instead of having a really long lead and not getting that hard snap, by shortening the lead, you get a harder snap on the paddle, giving you a harder snap on the spin fish, and that entire presentation is what's really getting it done. So the whole system's important, but really when you look at it, it's a big old chunk of monofilament for a bumper, a lead ball, a rotator, and a spinning fish on a diver rod. So this whole system's very, very easy to use. You drop it straight down and you start catching fish. I mean, you really can't beat the weather either.
No.
So, from a little bit of chop to glass calm, but still catching silverfish in the middle of the day. I mean, how's it get any better than that? That's what we love about Lake Ontario.
It doesn't get any better than this, and that is for sure. Well, it will wear you out. You better do a few curls before you come out here. Whew.
Oh yeah,
That's
nice
a
fish
decent
too.
Decent fish, not a giant, but
Let me get this rod out of your way for you, Dad.
but a decent fish for sure.
Oh, that's a nice one. Rod tip that way, Dad.
Trying. One more second here and I'll get him. I'll spin him back way. Here he comes. Good job.
Nice fish, Dad. Nice fish.
I'll tell you what, they are a handful at best.
Big coho too.
Oh, that is a beautiful coho. We had a nice mix today. Some Chinook and some coho, and that is a very high quality coho. I'll take that any day of the week, any body of water.
Fishing 411 TV is brought to you in part by Cisco Fishing Systems, your fishing equipment experts. Fishing 411 TV is brought to you in part by ProCure, ruthlessly effective bait scents.
A little bit smaller spinning fish has been hot, hasn't it, Dad?
Yes, it has.
Going down to that 2.5 size for these cohos that have been hanging around here. Well worth the time. It's literally the only thing that we changed. Everything else about the presentation is identical. The paddle's the same, the leader length's the same, everything's the same, other than just a little bit smaller spinning fish, which even though these have been really nice cohos, they're still relatively smaller fish in comparison to these big king salmon.
Decent fish.
You want at them?
Yep. I think we be crazy not to.
Not a bad fish, Dad, huh?
No, we'll take it.
They're fun. They've been a lot of fun. And we're shallow enough that we've been actually using our forward-facing sonar here. And you know, one of the things I feel like is, 120 feet of water or less, that forward-facing sonar is really kind of cool to have. Is it the reason we're catching these fish? Absolutely not, but it does help in seeing the bait, seeing the fish in relationship to the bait. And so instead of having it pointing forward, we have it turning around, pointing backwards, and we can actually see these spinning fish on the live screen itself, which is really cool to be able to see those fish come right up out of these bait balls and smack the spinning fish. Hooked up here, Dad.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see if I can stay hooked up on it. That's a good fish too, Dad. It's a real good fish.
Is that new, is that the NFL that you just put down a bit?
Yep, and a little bit smaller profile. We found a little pocket of bait that's got some cohos living in it. I'm sure there's other species of fish living in it too. But with there being as many cohos around, I figured I would just drop the profile of the bait, make it a little bit smaller. So I dropped one size on the spinning fish.
Good call, good call. And
I don't think that was in the water very long, just a couple minutes here, so that's good.
For those who haven't seen the NFL, it's a silver chrome bait with red flash on the side of it, red ladderbacks on it. And it's been a really, really good coho killer for us in a lot of places.
Not a bad fish.
No, that ain't a bad fish.
Come in. Just like that.
You got him. That is a fat little coho right there.
I'll pull this fish up and show him off. Gorgeous. Gorgeous Lake Ontario coho, man. These are so much fun. Fun little pocket of bait fish, and there's a lot of cohos just in them right now, and that's one cool thing. This particular year, here on the western side of Lake Ontario, there's been a lot of cohos hanging around, and this pot of fish has definitely got active cohos feeding in it, and so we caught a couple, right away, and I thought it'd be kind of a good idea to downsize, so I went from a 3.0 spinning fish that we've been fishing all day, dropped it down to a 2.0, just a little bit smaller profile. It wasn't in the water very long at all, and this coho wanted to come and see it.
Well, spinning fish comes in a variety of different sizes, and for us here for salmon fishing, the 3.0 is kind of the go-to size, and that's this one right here. And this is the way they come factory rigged, with the 2-hook harness, the bait, and a 2-hook harness on 40-pound test leader. And then you can cut the leader to whatever custom length you want it for the action you're looking for. And what you can see over here are some smaller ones. These are the 2.5s that have been good for the cohos. We've kind of juiced them up a little bit by adding a hoochie to the back of them. The hoochie doesn't come standard with them, but it's inexpensive. You can buy them. and just add them to the back of the bait, and all it does is just give it just a little more action, a little bit more sparkle, if you will. So you can take your spinning fish and you can add a hoochie to them, or you can fish them clean. Either way, they catch lots and lots of salmon. Oh, yes indeed. Click, click, click. I love it when the drag clicks. Hard to judge this one too quick, but they all feel good, and they've all been giving us just a great fight. Whew. It's hard to imagine how many salmon we have caught today. 4 rods. 4 rods, you know, and we're guilty of, we're those guys, we're those salmon fishermen that tries to put every rod in the water we possibly can and run as many presentations as we possibly can. But today, 4 rods, 4 rotators, 4 spinning fish have caught us literally a boatload of fish. Literally a boatload of fish.
This is a good one?
Yeah, it's going to be too big to handle it, I think.
That looks brown trouty.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's just hope that's the case.
That's what it is. Brown trout.
We have caught just a pile of cohos and Chinook salmon today, and what a great way to top off the day with a beautiful little brown trout. Hey, my name is Mark Romanack. You've been watching Fishing 401. Thanks for joining Jake and I in this episode. We hope to see you here same time, same place next week.
Closed captioning is provided courtesy of Precision Trolling Data, the Troller's Bible. Fishing 411 TV comes to you courtesy of Offshore Tackle, Yakima Bait Company, Suzuki Marine, Jay's Sporting Goods, Smooth Move Seats, Garmin Marine, Bill Lewis Lures, Starcraft Marine, Niagara Falls, USA, and Eagle Claw.
The live well's filling up nicely. I don't think there's much room left in there, Dad.